بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Good afternoon, or good evening, I may say. I would like to welcome each and every one of you today as you join us as we support this wonderful campaign for Mr. Hassan Gus Tarraf. Welcome to all our distinguished guests, community members, family, friends as a whole. Today we are here to support and unite in this wonderful campaign for Hassan. Your presence, support, and collaboration is highly and truly appreciated. I also would like to thank our distinguished guests and active community members, Mr. Hassan Ahmed from the City of Dearborn Heights City Council, Mr. Usama Sablani from the Arab American Youth, Mr. Dave Abdullah, Dearborn Heights City Council, Wayne County Commissioner Sam Beydoun, Dr. Ali Subah, Hash Kamal Shrara, San Hashim Commissioner, and last but not least, Ms. Afaf Ahmed, running candidate for District 15. Please give them also a big round of applause for their additional support and all the activism they do in our wonderful community. As we begin this wonderful event this afternoon and late evening, I want to tell you this event is crucial in so many aspects. The aspect that our voices are going to be heard loudly and firmly up in the State House. As you notice, the names that I've announced with respect to other members in the community that voice our voices come back from our villages, our homes. And this is why we must continue on in supporting this wonderful campaign. On behalf of Haj Hassan Tarraf's family, friends, community, I thank you for joining us this evening. Mr. Sablani doesn't really need an introduction, but I'm going to give him a small one at least. A publisher of the Arab American News, the largest and most widely circulated Arab American publication in the United States and known worldwide. He was inducted in the Michigan Journalism Hall of Fame on April 21st of 2013, a recipient of the Spirit of Diversity Journalism Award from Wayne State University. His activism, voice, has been unaltered. His fierceness in sending the news across the world, unfazed. 35 years of journalistic excellence. Mr. Sablani has now published the 35 years of the Arab American News. This newspaper rapidly became one of the local and national media's of most popular resource of the American-based Arab American opinion under all analysts across the nation and world as we know it. Because remember, the city of Dearborn is the big eye that everyone is looking at. Mr. Sablani's activism in policy and politics is admired and respected. I would like to welcome Mr. Sablani to the podium with a big round of applause.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for the introduction for the Mistress of Ceremony.
I appreciate the kind words that I probably do not deserve, or maybe I deserve a little bit. Voice? بيطلع لوحده. So, I'm happy to be here, and I wanted to thank Hassan for inviting me and asking me to speak, even though today is my deadline, which means that I have to go back to put out a publication this week. So, let me tell you a little story. So in 1984, on September 7th, I'm going to go back a little bit more. 1982. So in 1982, I was a vice president of an international company and I was traveling overseas. Usually I used to go 1 month overseas and then I come back and I spend 1 month in our headquarters here in Troy. I used to stop at Beirut to see my mom. And I came from Saudi Arabia on June 5, 1982. And I wanted to go and see my mother. I arrived at Beirut International Airport, went to my mother's house, and I felt that there is something going on in Lebanon, that Israel is going to go to war and invade Lebanon. I was politically aware, and I thought to myself, maybe I should just get the heck out of here before it becomes too complicated and they close the airport and I could not leave. So I got on the last flight that left Beirut International Airport to Paris. And I saw from the seat of on the plane, I saw the Israeli jets bombing on the outskirts of Khaldi in Beirut. I spent 3 days in Paris and I came to the United States to learn that the house that I helped build for my mom in Beirut was totally destroyed by an Israeli rocket. And then I learned that other homes in the same neighborhood was hit and destroyed, including Christians and Muslims, because our neighborhood was mixed. I thought to myself, I could go back to Saudi Arabia, to Qatar, Bahrain, Africa, and I was making a lot of money. I came here with $185 in my pocket, one-way ticket in 1976 from a relatively poor family, like all of us. But I was making good money, lots of money. But I thought to myself, if I continue, then I was listening to the television talk shows, and they bring an Israeli and a pro-Israeli, and they talk about the Israeli invasion of Lebanon. I felt like we do not have a chair around the table. We are not expressing our views. They are making excuses for invading our country and occupying Beirut, which is the capital of Lebanon, and an independent nation, member of the United Nations, a founding member of the Arab League, and nobody is talking about it. Everybody is justifying the invasion of Lebanon and killing of people and destroying homes, including my home. I was offended. I was deeply offended. I decided that I wanted to do something. Instead of making money, I want to make a difference. So I started thinking, how can we get a seat around the table? When our issues are being discussed, we have a voice. We speak our own issues. We tell our own story. We are not going to let anyone speak on our behalf and tell our story, because no one can tell your story better than you. So I decided that it's time. My house was in Troy. My business was in Troy. So I started exploring a media outlet. I talked to television sources, talked to radio sources at that time. I'm talking 1982. At that time, no internet, no cable, no satellites, nothing. The regular television, the regular radios. Every time we reach a place where we're going to sign the contract, there are something on the dotted line at the bottom says we can close your show, we can close your outlet without any reason. Just giving you a notice that tomorrow you will not be appearing there. And you and I know who controls events when it comes to media and other things in this country. The Israeli lobby and the pro-Israeli elements, right? So I thought what we can do is, somebody told me, why don't you publish something, put it in an envelope, and send it anywhere in the country. And if this printer doesn't print it for you, go to other printer. I thought it was a good idea. I started planning it in 1984. I opened the office in Troy. So somebody in Troy told me, an Arab American who is a third generation, a real estate broker, by the way. He died right now, passed away. I was in the same building with him. He said, Osama, are you putting out an Arab paper? And I said, yes. He said, where? I said, here in Troy. He said, why not in Dearborn? I said, I don't know anybody in Dearborn. I don't know. I go to the airport, I see Dearborn. Doesn't mean anything to me. What it meant to me is Dix. The Arabs on Dix. Never been in Dearborn. So I decided, okay, well, I have opened an office. Let me look in Dearborn. I went to the Yellow Pages and I called a real estate agent by the name of Bob Canoop. And I said, I want an office in Dearborn, across the street from City Hall, probably looking at the mayor's office. I was just joking. He said, okay, let me see what I can do. What happened was that Bob Canoop was the president of the city council in Dearborn at that time. He found me a place across the street from the city hall, looking at the mayor's office. We started the paper, by the way. I don't know much about what's going on in Dearborn. Our community was in hiding. And then the mayor was elected in 1985. His name is Michael A. Guido, on an Arab platform. He was running behind number 3. And then he put a tabloid called Let's Talk About the Arab Problem and the Ordinance, Park Ordinance. The Arab problem is us, and the park ordinance are the blacks. They're coming into the park. And then we had the first battle, and the lines were drawn between me and Michael A. Guido at that time. He won the mayorship, and our community continued to fight back. Fast forward 38 years. The mayor of this town, his name is Abdullah Hussein Hammoud. Things have changed. Things have changed, but it did not change out of nothing. I just want you to know that it was a hell of a ride from 1984 to the current date. Not speaking about my accomplishments, but about our accomplishments. Because you see, money did not matter. And I don't want to bore you on the details, but in 1992, I declared bankruptcy. I lost everything. Everything, home, car, accounts, bonds, shares, everything. I could not even buy a sandwich. I am not joking. I could not buy a sandwich to eat. But I was on Larry King speaking about Arab Americans and Arab affairs. And I believe that I am holding the fort. I am only a soldier, that other soldiers are come with me one day, and we're going to hold the fort. بدنا نحمل قلعة بس لحتى يجي فارس أحلامنا، يجي ياخذ القلعة ويبني إمبراطورية لنا. هذا بخيالي بمخيلتي. I always believed in our people. I always believed that they can make the impossible, only if they were giving the possibilities. And I was right. Here is an example. The mayor of Dearborn is an Arab American. The president of the city council is an Arab American. The chief of police in Dearborn is Arab American. The president of the commission to revise the charter of Dearborn, Dastur Dearborn, is an Arab American. Dearborn Heights, the mayor is an Arab American. The chairman of the city council is Dave Abdullah, our brother. He's an Arab American. In Hamtramck, the mayor is an Arab American. The president of the city council is an Arab American. In fact, all the city councils are Muslims. But we're not stopping here. We have to move forward. And I am coming to you, asking you to help us move forward by electing Arab Americans to offices, not only in Dearborn, Dearborn Heights, Hamtramck, Birmingham, but in the state. You see, this is the way we do it. Before, they thought that we will fight from Washington, D.C. We want to change policies regarding the Israeli in Washington, D.C., in the White House. My brothers and sisters, if you cannot change the policies against you in a city where you reside in the city hall with the mayor, how could you change policies in the White House? It just doesn't make sense. The pyramid starts from the base up to the top. So if you wanted to reach to the White House, we got to start in our neighborhood. Building power base, sitting around the tables in every city, every county, and then in the state. And then we go back and forward to reach to the Congress of the United States, and with there we start making policies regarding Israel. Just a few days ago, I spoke at a rally here in Dearborn. Yesterday and today, the Zionist lobby in America launched a war against me in the media. You know what? It's okay. Because we will fight back. And guess what? We will fight back and we will win. Because things have changed. Things have changed. So that brings me to a point in here, which is why we are here. Why we're here is we're supporting a man, an Arab American, who said, look, I want to volunteer my time and my efforts to move our community forward. First of all, our kids in schools need help. We have 36 schools in Dearborn. Some of them are crumbling. The state has lots of money. We can ask for the money and get the money, but only if we have someone around the table when the cake is divided. We can ask for a slice. But if you are not around the table, you will get nothing. The pollution is killing our children in southeast Detroit and in Dearborn. It is at the highest ever. So we need legislators in Lansing to make sure they are giving permissions for factories in Detroit and in Dearborn. They are giving them instructions of how low the level of pollution should be in order to protect people. Our roads are crumbling. Have you driven on Miller Road? Oakman, right here, by the way, when you came, did you drive on Oakman? You see how terrible this is? But go out, for example, to West Bloomfield and Bloomfield Hills and other areas and see how the roads are there. They are very good. I live there. I know they are very, very good. Because they have representatives saying to the governor, you want to fix the damn roads, start here. So when we are around the table, we can ask for our shares to fix the roads. Our health care, for me and my wife, $2,500 a month for Blue Cross Blue Shield for health care. And our deductible each is $7,000. How could we survive? Here is $50,000 just to take care of our health care, and we're old. I'm 67. Our health care, our medicine, prescription, deductibles, the pharmaceutical industry, they are getting richer and richer. We are getting poorer and poorer, and our health is deteriorating. You know why? Because they have lobbyists buying people in Lansing and in Washington, D.C., and we have no one representing us telling them, look, you are making our life difficult in here. So we need someone to be around the table in order to protect our interests. You see, this is a country that's called United States of America. Write it down. It's United States of America Incorporated. So what does that mean? When you have a corporation, if you do not have shares, you do not have votes. So they make decisions for you, those who have the shares in this corporation. How do you buy shares? You run for office, you support candidates, you make sure that you pay attention to the issues, you support the right people to make the decisions for you by electing them. We are doing well, but we need to do better. And that's why I asked you. In this election, we have Arab Americans and maybe some Americans, non-Arabs, running that they could represent us well in Lansing and in Washington, D.C. So I ask you to first support them with money, because as you know, we cannot win without fuel. And the fuel in election is money. And without votes, we cannot win. So before we ask people for their votes, we have to make sure that we are voting. No procrastination. We cannot afford procrastination. We cannot afford people staying at home and not taking 5-10 minutes to go out and vote. So I ask you to support Gus Tarraf and to support any Arab American or any American of non-Arab that can serve our interests and protect our families and advance our schools and fix our roads and make sure that we have a healthy life in America. And defend our freedom, because we live in a very dangerous world. I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity, and I hope I contributed a little bit in here to advance our cause, and I know that you will carry on and make us proud comes August 2nd. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Sablani, for this lengthy and detailed information that you shared with us, not only about your background, but about the necessities that we definitely need as Arab American voices in this community and abroad. You know, it's essential. Looking at the crowd today, a product of Dearborn myself, coming at the age of 3, to parents, mother from Egypt, father from Lebanon, coming here for a better world for myself and my siblings. I never thought that I would sit here today, fast forward years later, knowing that we have dignitaries up representing us at the House level, Senate level, and Congress level. That alone is milestones to have achievements for. As an educator myself for the past 21 years, I have passed by thousands of students coming through our doors. And Mr. Sablani hit it on the head about our schools. We are the products of our homes and our schools. We are the products of what our families embed in us and the products of what the school system gives us. We pay these taxes, so why not voice your opinions and stand by and say, we now want our due. With that being said, it has been an honorable pleasure to work alongside Mr. Ramzi Saab. Ustaz Ramzi was the principal at Riverside Academy West for almost 15 years. I worked in the administration side by side with him. A wholesome family man, a community activist to the T, working above and beyond to ensure that each and every one that comes at his doors needs assistance or guidance. He was never hesitant. A man that has educated thousands, guided thousands, alongside myself and children. He is a man of honor, of representation to his word. It's always interesting standing up here as an MC when many people tell me, Haji Khulaida, you really enjoy this? To be honest, it's a bittersweet. I'd rather sit down and enjoy my dinner like each of you are, but I am a voice for the Arab Muslim women in America, in the city of Dearborn, and I will remain to be that voice representing the Arab Muslims in America. And I want to thank Ustaz Ramzi for also empowering me to be able to stand here alongside my fellow comrades at the IOK that we'll mention later. Without ado, Mr. Ramzi Saab, please come to the podium.
Assalamu alaikum jami'an. Thank you Haji Khulaida for the introduction. أيها السادة العلماء الأستاذ غسان أيها الحفل الكريم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. I just wanna أيها الحفل الكريم أيها السادة العلماء distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening والسلام عليكم جميعا. Before I say a few words, I would like to also thank Mr. Siblani for the speech, for the beautiful speech. ونحن أستاذ أسامة كمان نفتخر فيك. أنت leader بالcommunity. You are a pioneer in the media overseas in America. We are proud of you. Alaikum assalam. Tonight is for Mr. Gus Tarraf to support him to run for the state legislative office. It is my honor to be here today to support Mr. Ghassan. I've known him, a very honest, dedicated man, leader in our community, and I know he will do a great job. He needs our support because we have, as a community, needs. نحن الجالية نحن بحاجة إلى ناس يمثلونا خير تمثيل، والأستاذ غسان هو إنسان محترم مننا وفينا، وهو راح يكون إن شاء الله ممثل لنا. بس لازم نحن الكل نصوت بأوغست 2، لازم go out and vote، لأنه حسب ما فهمت أنا إنه نحن بنمثل 40% من الأصوات وتقريبا 60% خارج ديرهم. فإذا نحن طلعنا بكثافة بأوغست 2 وصوتنا للأستاذ غسان، أنا متأكد راح ينزع وراح يمثلنا، لأنه نحن الجالية الإسلامية العربية كلها في ديربون، وأنا بفتخر لما بقول كلها لأنه نحن جالية متنوعة. We are very diverse. نحن we are very successful community, very advanced in many areas, but we have needs. We're not perfect. We need support, like Mr. Sablani said. We need support in the field of education. We need support in the health. We need support in safety and also in other areas. انتم بتعرفوا شو صار معنا باللاست 2 years وقت الكوفيد 19 وكيف الناس اتعذبت، ولو ما يجي في دعم وسبورت يمكن ما كنا قطعنا هالمرحله، ونحن اكيد خسرنا ناس الله يرحمهم، ولحد هلا في ناس قاعده بتعاني. فلما بيكون عندنا ممثلين بلانسل مثل ما تفضل الاستاذ اسامه السبلاني وقال انه لما بقصوا الكيك لازم ناخذ نحن شقفه منه لنا، اكيد مشان نحافظ على سلامه الناس هذا شيء كثير مهم انه يكون لنا ريبرزنتيشن بلانسل. كذلك انا بدي اركز على نقطه السيفتي بالنسبه للدعم لحتى تبقى ديربون منطقه ديربون اللي هو ان شاء الله حيكون بيمثلها تكون بامان. فلازم يكون في دعم للبوليس ديبارتمنت، للفاير ديبارتمنت من لانسل من الولايه. وانا رح اركز كمان اكثر على موضوع اللي هو الاديوكيشن، يمكن لانه انا مدير فتره طويله وبعرف هالشغله، بعرف انه الاشياء السترينث والويكنسز، يعني شو نحن مدارس ديربون ومدارس ديربون هايتس مدارس راقيه، وكل المدارس مدارس راقيه وبنفتخر فيهم، لكن نحن بنعاني اولادنا بيعانوا في اشياء كثيره ما عم تتقدم للاولاد لانه ما في بالبادجت مصاري. بعطيكم مثلا الاولاد اللي بيجوا مثلا البايلينجوال اللي بيجوا عندهم مثلا ESL انجلش از سكند لانجويج او ليميتد انجلش، هذا الولد يمكن يكون من اشطر الاولاد بس لانه ما بيعرف انجليزي بحس حاله ضايع، واهله ما بيعرفوا انجليزي كمان ما بيعرفوا يساعدوه. فلما بتقول لهم المدرسه يساعدوه بيقولوا لك ما عندنا مصاري كثير لحتى نساعد، بدنا نركز على النواحي الثانيه. لا، لازم يكون في إذا school budget to support bilingual education، لانه هؤلاء الاولاد بعد فتره بصيروا leaders contributing citizens in the community and great citizens بيساعدونا وبيساعدوا اهلهم وبيساعدوا النيبرهود كله والكوميونتي كلها. لازم نحط ايدنا ببعضنا، لازم مثل ما تفضل الاستاذ اسامه السبلاني نوصل ناس نوثق فيهم يكونوا صوتنا خير ممثل لنا، وانا على يقين انه الاستاذ غسان هو خير من يمثل بهذه الانتخابات اللي حتكون باغسطس 2. نتمنى لك كل التوفيق. نتمنى لك كل التوفيق، ونحن معك وراح نصوت لك وراح نقول للنيبرز لاصدقائنا ولكل اللي بنعرفهم من عرب وامريكان، عرب على اختلافنا ونحن عائله واحده، كل يصوتوا باغسطس 2. Good luck. ان شاء الله we'll come back to this room and celebrate victory. السلام عليكم.
Thank you so much, Ustaz Ramzi, for your words of wisdom. Always a pleasure to hear you speak. You know, it's always amazing to speak from the heart when I don't have to hold a paper or introduce people. It has an interpersonal level to it. The next speaker is someone that I also consider a dear brother. You know, I'm not from a particular area, I'm not here to support a particular area, but looking at all of the people here today that I consider most overall family and friends. Looking in the podiums, from the podium aboard, I see a few of our students that graduated from my building. But also saying, working together, no matter whatever the gap may be, or the misunderstanding may be, is key. Uniting as one is key. This is what's going to make us successful. Haj Waji Ahmad, I met about 27 years ago, alongside Haj Ghassan. My kids are from the same family, same area. And Haj Waji has been pivotal in many aspects when it looks like to the family. And not only that, to the community. Pivotal in the essence of being a mediator, a guide, a person of wisdom. His calm personality, always allowing others to listen to him as they need to. Haj Waji, it is a humbling honor to call you up to the podium to speak. Please give him a big round of applause.
السلام عليكم. أصحاب الفضيلة، رجال الدين الأعزاء، أصحاب الهامات والمقامات في هذه الجالية الكريمة، كل الجالية وفعالياتها، أيها الأحبة جميعاً، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. واسمحوا لي أن أفتتح الكلام بالتوجه بالشكر الجزيل لكم على هذا الحضور الذي يرفع المعنويات ويقوي العزيمة ويشرح الصدور. وهذه اللقاءات والاجتماعات تفتح النوافذ على المستقبل الزاهر وتنعش ربيع القلوب. ولكي نستطيع أن نكمل مشوارنا في هذه الحياة لا بد من وجود هدف، ولكن لا يمكننا تحقيقه بدون تشجيع وإصرار، فقد يكون هذا من الأهل والأصحاب، والأهم أن يكون نابع من أنفسنا وقلوبنا. وطبعاً هذا موجود، والدليل حضوركم اليوم لدعم الصديق الحاج غسان طراف الذي تربطني به صداقة قديمة ومتينة. وعلى مر سنوات طويلة من الصداقة ما رأيت منه إلا جميلا. إنه إنسان بكل ما للكلمة من معنى، خلوق وطيب وطموح وصاحب الرأي السليم، ويستحق أن نقف إلى جانبه وندعمه بكل ما أوتينا من قوة. أيها الصديق العزيز، تصرف كما لو أنه من المستحيل أن تفشل. إذا كنت تستطيع تخيل صورة ما، فذلك يعني أنه يمكنك أن تجعلها واقعاً وحقيقة. وإذا كنت تستطيع أن تحلم، فهذا يعني أنك تستطيع أن تحقق حلمك. حاج غسان، نتمنى لك التوفيق، ونحن إلى جانبك لآخر الطريق، والله يقويك وتحقق أحلامك، ومشكورين، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Thank you, Haj Waji. For the man of the hour, what can I say? You know, it's always interesting when I'm called in to do these events. I take it as a humbling honor. Why? Because as we have been talking throughout the night, we all have voices that we must make loud and clear. We must always uplift, unite, and we must always stand strong. But first and foremost, I do want to welcome to tonight's event Sheikh Ahmed Hamoud with Sheikh Hassan Al-Ha'iri with us today. Please welcome them for joining us today. You know, anyone that wants to run for any kind of an office or wants to take any high position, some people look at them and say, what's the mean to the gain? But that shouldn't be the question. The question should be, why are they taking time out of their family to do so? It's not the paycheck. It's not the recognition. It's the why and the how and the where. As a community member, Haj Hassan, Gus as we know him, is a respected father, husband, grandfather to two, friend, aspiring community leader, and a person that I personally can trust. Striving to establish on the main grounds a safe community for this community as a whole. He does work tirelessly from the backgrounds. Known to be a very well-rounded community man, family man, which is key, family man, is honorable. He has been pivotal in ensuring our community by working through the social media platforms, using his background in journalism that he's had for vast years. Updating us and keeping us up to events, being a pioneer in the essence of if he knows someone needs something, he will be there. Using the platform of his guidance and wisdom, he's always there to assist a lending hand. Through his journalism reporting, Mr. Tarraf is always one of the first to cover all news, whether it be good or bad. Remember, all news, not particular news. Why does he do so? His passion to bring out the right facts is why he is here today. The passion to put the voice out as a state representative is why we stand before you and why each and every one of you in this room is here today. Personally, I want to say a few words about Haj Hassan, because I have had the pleasure of seeing him as a family man, a community man, as an older brother, side by side. His support and aid is pivotal. His word of honor is respected. He continues to assist anyone, no matter what, stranger, far, near, or close. And that is a humbling trait to have. Because when we go to the voting polls to elect somebody, you just don't want to elect someone because he's related to you or he's your neighbor or your friend or from your village or your country. You want that person to voice your voices, your needs, your concerns, and your demands. Seeing how he is with his wife, Rania, his wonderful, beautiful kids, especially Taha, my former student that I love and adore, his beautiful 2 grandchildren that he's also so close to nearby, makes me feel and know that he is one of the persons that we must stand by August 2nd, when we voice our opinion, our voices as one. Standing side by side, no matter what we have or what we must do. Haj Hassan, you have our votes. Please welcome Mr. Gus Tarraf to the podium.
من 35 سنة ما كنت بتوقع انه يجي هيدا اليوم يلي انا اترشح فيه على الانتخابات النيابية بامريكا. من 35 سنة كان كل طموحي اشتغل كم شهر وارجع على وطني الام. من 35 سنة كانت البنية التحتية هون بألف خير. من 35 سنة كان في حكمة وضمان اجتماعي ممتاز. من 35 سنة كانت أسعار تأمين السيارات كتير رخيصة. من 35 سنة كانت مدارسنا وأولادنا بأمان وبألف خير. من 35 سنة كانت أغلب الوفيات طبيعية. بعد 35 سنة انقلبت الآية. بنية تحتية مهترية، مشاكل بمدارسنا وجامعاتنا، مشاكل بالضمان الصحي والاجتماعي، أسعار غريبة عجيبة بشركات تأمين السيارات، قوانين بتشرع التعامل بالمخدرات، وأغلب الوفيات يلي عم نشوفها هلا مش طبيعية. وأولادنا عم نخسرهم واحد واحد. أنا مني المخلص لهيدي المشاكل كلها، بس أنا واحد من الأشخاص يلي ممكن وبالتعاون مع كل المعنيين لنشتغل ونغير للأفضل. صوتكم يحمي أولادنا. أنا غسان حسن طراف أتقدم منكم جميعا ومن جميع أبناء الجالية العربية ككل ومن كل المؤسسات السياسية والاجتماعية العربية فضلا وليس أمرا التصويت لإلي لشخصي بأكبر عدد ممكن، لأنه المعركة صعبة وفيها كتير تحديات، وخاصة بالبقعة الجغرافية يلي فيها دائرتي. أنا ثقتي فيكم كبيرة وبطلب منكم إنه توقفوا لجنبي من هلا لوقت الاستحقاق بأغسطس 2. أشكر حضوركم ودعمكم المادي والمعنوي. أشكر كل شخص دعمني وما قدر يجي على هيدي المناسبة. أشكر الحج خليدة والأستاذ رمزي والأستاذ أسامة سبلاني وخي الحج وجيه، كما وأشكر العلماء الأفاضل والرسميين والإعلاميين ورجال الأعمال والوجهاء والأصدقاء، وأشكر عائلتي وأبناء قريتي والجوار وأصحاب قاعة دير بن ماند السيد حسين والسيدة نائلة الصبح على حسن الضيافة، والله ولي التوفيق، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Thank you, Hassan. Thank you, Haj. So I'm going to have you enjoy your dinner. And I want to thank you once again for joining us today. Your support, financially, morally, ethically, together is needed. We are standing here, one united, to ensure that one of our voices makes the vote on August 6th. As a mother of 5 beautiful kids, products of the city of Dearborn, raising my head high, we need to make sure the voices are heard where they are. Because of individuals like our respected officials here, community members, they were able to aspire, they were able to excel, they were able to reach the unreachable. Not only because of that, because of the home. So please remember, it is the house and the society as one. We must unite, we must encourage, we must uplift, we must vote August 2nd for Haj Hassan. Thank you all for joining us today, and thank you for having a wonderful night. Assalamu alaikum.